if he gains the whole world and loses or forfeits himself? For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes in his glory and the glory of the Father and of the holy angels. The main thrust of this is that we have to prioritize, put God first. Christ has to be absolutely first in our life. That's the main thrust of this. But I want you to notice something in just the one verse there. The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and chief priests and scribes and killed and raised on the third day. Now, keep in context, we're talking about Cain. We're talking about, do I need to be my brother's keeper? Does this sound like an unconcerned brother? Christ is going to be crucified. No. That's the word of our Savior. He's going to die for his spiritual brothers. Jesus felt powerful, overwhelming desire to watch out for us, his spiritual brothers. Compelled to watch out for us. In Romans 14, no one of us lives for himself, no one dies for himself. That's verse 7. We already read 12, which said each one of us will give an account of himself to God. If we drop down to verse 15 in Romans 14, it says, for if because of food your brother is hurt, you're no longer walking according to love. Do not destroy with your food him for whom Christ died. We see apostolic teaching that we're to be concerned about our brothers. In fact, we stand guilty in judgment if we're not concerned about our brothers. If we're not concerned about each other, we'll stand guilty before God because God demands. We're to be concerned about each other. If we want to be in heaven, we absolutely have to. In Galatians chapter 6, verses 1 to 5, Paul told the Galatians, brethren, if anyone is caught in any trespass, you who are spiritual, restore such one in the spirit of gentleness. Each one of you look into yourself so that you will not be tempted. Bear one another's burdens, thereby fulfill the law of Christ. For if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. Each one of them must examine his own work. Then he'll have reason for boasting in regard to himself alone, not regard for another. And in verse 6 he says, we must bear our own load. Yes, absolutely, we have to bear our own load. Yes, absolutely, we'll stand before God singularly. I will stand before God to be judged by God. But what am I going to be judged by? I'm going to be judged by the Word, absolutely. But what's in the judgment? We need to understand something here. God's going to look at me, and He's going to say to me, how did you fare in your relationship with society? Those outside. How did you fare your relationship with your brothers? Did you act as the keeper or the beneficiary of the society around you? Did you act as the beneficiary of your brethren? I know you did all these other things, but how did you behave yourself among the brethren? Did you take on the load of being your brother's keeper? That's going to be part of my judgment. And by the way, yours as well. When we stand before God, we don't stand as an island unto ourselves. We are judged singularly, but we do not stand as an island upon ourselves. We're judged by how we interact with everybody in society. In verse 10 of chapter 6, there he goes on to say, do good unto all men. And by the way, that leaves nobody out. And then he says, especially the household of faith. Do good to all men, especially. So everybody's contained in that. I'm to do especially good for you, and I'm going to do good for everybody as I have opportunity. That's God's command to me. And when I stand before Him in judgment, He's going to look and He's going to remind me, because He already knows, He's going to remind me if I have fallen short in that. I hope He don't find much shortcomings in me. Love one another is commanded by Jesus. This is my commandment, Jesus said, that you love one another just as I have loved you. So as I love you, my brethren, I'm to love you the same way Jesus loved me. And how was that? Of course, we know is absolute surrender to my needs. Absolute surrender to my needs. There was nothing I need that he didn't provide. Nothing. And provides today as well. We needed his perfect sacrifice. Love demonstrated. Jesus demonstrated. Jesus didn't ask me to love somebody that he didn't love first. I'm not commanded to love somebody Jesus hadn't already loved. Love one another taught by Paul. To the Thessalonians, Paul said, now as to the love of the brethren, you have no need for anyone to write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. Love one another. Stressed by Paul. It was commanded by Jesus, taught by Paul, instructed by Peter. Peter said it this way, since you have in obedience to the truth purified your souls for a sincere love of the brethren, fervently love one another from the heart. Peter here is stressing that love is to be sincere. No hypocrisy here, no hypocritical stuff. Fervent from the heart. In fact, I want to love you. By the way, I would ask you to do everything you can to make it easy on me. But even if you don't, I'm still to love you. I'm still to love you. So if you make it easy on me, that's better. And it's like the relationship in a husband and a wife, isn't it? I do everything I can to please her because she makes it so easy. So if I do that, then it's easier for her to love me because I'm trying to make it easy on her. So as I try and help her to love me, she helps me to love her. That's how it is with us. You do everything you can in your power to make it easier for me to love you, and I love you more. And I will try and reciprocate so that it isn't hard for you to be nice to me. Stressed by John, 1 John 3:11. This is the message you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Not as Cain, who was of the evil one and slew his brother. For this reason did he slay him.